Must be very low volume at this point. BCLI. This one's trying to get some movement going here. This was off of that press release this morning. All right, we are live on YouTube and Instagram and TikTok. Good morning, everybody. BCLI, is it going to go here on this press release? We've gone from $1.11 to $1.38 in the first 2 minutes. Pulled back, dropped all the way back down to $1.21. It's back to $1.31 now. We'll see if this one gets some momentum here off of this press release. OSTX announces positive data in the treatment of unresected osteosarcoma in dogs, opening the potential for use as a frontline therapy in humans. Okay, OSTX, successful clinical trials in dogs, possibly opening the pathway to trials with humans. OSTX. It'll be interesting to see if that gets any play today. Now let's go back and look at BCLI. Boom. There she goes. Looking good. Anybody grab any of that BCLI on that boom? Look at it. It fell all the way back. Rusty, BCLI 129 to 149. Good trade. BKSY Technologies, nothing there. GBIO, maintained price target change. Let's go back and look at OSTX. There's the pullback. Let me reread that press release for you, just so everybody's up to date for those joining us a little bit late. OSTX Therapies announces positive data for OSTHER2 in the treatment of unresected osteosarcoma in dogs, opening the potential for use in frontline therapy in humans. We'll see if that gets any play. It spiked up pretty decent on the initial news, pulled back, which is what we wait for. Randy, BCLI from 128 to 149. Good trade. Derek, BCLI 131 to 146. Also good trade. Good trade. Ewan, good morning. Morning from Scotland. Good morning. We've got Scotland in the house with us this morning. Zena. Let's see what Zena's got going on here. ZENA closes Miller Land Surveying Corporation, a third Southeast acquisition, and fourth nationally for the drone as service rollout. Drone surveying, conference call, nothing there. All right, let's go back and look at BCLI again. Let's see if this one gets a little pump. We had a press release on BCLI this morning. Let me find it here. BCLI, Brainstorm Cell Therapeutics, that's the name of the company. BCLI submits an investigational new drug amendment to the FDA, paving the way for a phase 3 trial of their drug for the treatment of ALS. That's what that press release was all about. Now it did spike up pretty nice. It went from $1.09 to $1.52, but it pulled back pretty heavy here. It's back to 128. So we'll see if this one rebounds off of that pullback or not. KTTA, nothing there. Let's see, DFLI, BCLI. Still waiting to see what's going to happen with OSTX. We're going to see if this one bounces off this news or not. It may not, but that's why we watch. John, good morning. Trent, do you think FMTO will have a good reversal? My thought is we might see a little bounce on that, 10 cents maybe, but I don't think it's not going to climb back up to where it was at. It's not going to go back to $5. It's probably not going to go back to $1. I think more than likely it might float up and down just a little bit around where it's at for a while, but I think a reverse split is in the works there. I think at some point they're going to have to go into a reverse split to get the price back up again. I don't think it's going to organically just climb back up on its own. The offering they did was just too sizable, which is why it fell all the way down to 3 pennies. RSLS booming up nicely. RSLS, Reshape Life Sciences. Look at that boom. Nice. Let's see. STSS not doing anything. SUNE popped up pretty nice, but pulled back really hard here. Wheeler's still coming down. AGMH, HYFM, nothing. KTTA, nothing. Here's another press release. RDHL announces full year 2024 financial results and operational highlights. No volume. Let's see. BCLI still pulling backwards. IVVD. IVVD getting a nice little pump here. What's going on? IVVD getting a nice little pump. Still low volume as well, but it's pumping up pretty good right now. But low volume, very low volume. We want to see that volume increase. We're getting a lot of volume right at the second, but it's not good volume. It's sell-off volume. So we want to see that reverse. We want to see some buyers coming in. And we got to wait. Wait. And I'd feel a lot better if that had a press release on it. Let's see. Good morning. Debbie, good morning. RDHL, another press release on their revenues. RSLS, nice little spike on this one. Nice climb up in after hours last night. We called this one out in after hours, but it climbed up really nice for us. It looked like it was going to be our first 100% runner in after hours last night when we were doing after hours, but it didn't quite make it. And it fell down, and it just really didn't do a whole lot the rest of the evening. This morning, it's trying again. It is giving some effort, but the last couple of minutes have not looked good for it. But we did get a nice big spike on it about 4 minutes ago. Debbie, good morning. Red Dead fan, today's your birthday, 19th birthday. Well, happy birthday. And no, I'm not going to sing happy birthday to you. Nobody wants to hear that. SUNE. Come on, baby. Push back up. RSLS. Still struggling here a little bit. Here's some more press releases. NIO, price target maintained. That doesn't help us. RIVN, price target. RDHL on their financials again. That's about the fourth one I've gotten from them this morning on financials. BCLI starting to curl back up again. Let's take a look at FMTO here. I know a lot of you are in pain from this one this morning. All right, so it is climbing up at the moment. For those of you that bought the dip, yesterday and picked it up in the 4-cent area, you're probably pretty happy with it and it's doing okay at the moment. But I would say the vast majority are still hurting from that one. So you might be able to scalp a few pennies off of it, might offset your losses from yesterday, but I don't think we see this one go up much. That's just my personal opinion. I don't think we see it go up much. Vicki, good morning. All right, 53. Let's see what's moving here. SUNE. RSLS. Yeah, that FMTO, they could still be diluting that thing today, so keep that in mind. I believe that was a shelf offering, and I don't know that they have gotten rid of all the shares they had to get rid of. So they could dilute that thing even more today when the market opens. So there is a potential for that thing to fall, back down to 2 cents, 1 cent. I mean, we just don't know. And I would rather play it cautious than... I took a risk on it yesterday and got bit. So I'm not going to touch it. Now, let me follow that comment up with this. If they put out a really good press release, and it causes that price to start going back up again, and that press release is acting as a catalyst to push it back up, I may take another stab at it. But without a press release, without something positive to put our hat on, I'm not touching it. Bob, yes. Oh, yes. I got rid of that. I tried to be slick on it yesterday, and I had to sell off very quickly. So I'm not going to touch it until they put out a press release. If they put one out, they may not. But I don't know. How promising do you believe the news is on KTTA? The news is it's not big news. On a scale of 1 to 10, it's about a 3. It's good news, but it's not the kind of news that you would expect to push a stock up and, run 100% or 80% or anything like that. It's not that good of news. It's just safety committee. These biopharmaceutical companies, that are doing these clinical trials, every company has a safety committee, and it's made up of doctors and the CEO and all that stuff, made up of medical professionals. And the safety committee, as they're doing the like the phase 1 clinical trial, or just prior to a phase 1 clinical trial, as they're doing the clinical trial, the safety committee is reviewing the data that's coming out on the trial, whether it's a preclinical trial or a phase 1 clinical trial. They're reviewing the data, and they have meetings. They have regular meetings, and they discuss the data that they're seeing and the safety data. And at any point, that committee can say, we don't like what we're seeing here, and they can put a halt to the clinical trial, or make it change direction to get the results that they need to get. Or they can say, yeah, we really like this safety data, and they give the clinical trial the thumbs up to continue with the phase 1 clinical trial. So it's done within the company. It's an intercompany safety committee. So this news, all it is saying the safety committee gave them the thumbs up to continue with the the trials. So yeah, it's good news, but it's not like they got approval from the FDA, like an official government agency to move forward or anything like that. It's just an intercompany committee, which is not that big of news, really. HYFM trying desperately. Kit, good morning. Pimp, good morning. Anthony, anything look good on watch today? So far, it's been pretty slim. The market has not been as good as I thought it might be. SPY's down $13. I'm not seeing that as a good sign so far this morning. Let's do a real quick look here. BCLI. We've had this one on watch. They put out a press release this morning, BCLI. So we're watching this one slowly climb up. The lows are getting higher and higher and higher. So this is a positive looking chart so far, at least on the 1 minute chart. Let me look at it on the 5 minute real quick. 5 minute looks good as well. So overall, BCLI looks like it might be something decent. Obviously, getting in early this morning when the news first came out at 7:30 would have been ideal, but just definitely something to keep on watch. I'm not saying go jump into it. It's something good to keep on your watch. Let's hear. Here's the 8 o'clock press releases for you. ALBT announces the issuance of a patent. So they have a new patent, ALBT. ELAB, ELAB, signs a partnership with Yuva Biosciences for therapies for obesity. ELAB, ELAB. Cure, CURR, regains full compliance with NASDAQ's listing rule. GLMD, positive part 1 results from a study. No volume really to speak of, but I would keep that one on watch. GLMD. AREB. CEO Randy Rose appears on Miami TV. That's fluff. UNCY. New patient level data underscores. That's fluff. Let's go back and look at eLab. Now, eLab pumped up on the news, pulled back. That's the pullback you're waiting on. If you decide you want some of that, that is what you were waiting on. We talk about that all the time here with the Wolfpack. These press releases come out and they spike immediately on the news. You don't want to FOMO into that first spike. Kathy, BCLI from 128 to 140. Good trade. ESPR. Nothing there. Let's see. Atos. Therapeutic partner. Not like that. The rest of these are all in the red. BCLI got a little pump there, little bump. HYFM also, that's one we've been watching most of the morning. HYFM, but it's not going anywhere. It's getting little tiny little bumps here and there. Harmon's International Growth. Reading through press releases, so give me a moment. Announced appointment, Chief Medical Officer. Presenting data. Reading off press releases as fast as I can. MODG just hit my scanner. Man, there is just nothing in terms of press releases that are helping us too much here. Wheeler starting to curl back up again. Be very careful with Wheeler. I've been telling the Wolfpack all morning here. Be careful. They are a dilution machine, reverse split machine, and I smell a offering coming up. Crispy, good morning. All right, now that was all the press releases. Let's see, KTTA, not doing anything on the press release. AREB, American Rebel, pumping up just a little bit. PTN, GLMD going up on their press release. GLMD announces positive Part 1 results. Remember that one from the AM study of meglumine, an enhanced formulation. Pumped up pretty good on the news, but it's pulling back at the moment. That's on GLMD. ELAB, ELAB. That was another press release. This is the one that signed a partnership with Yuva Biosciences for the treatment of obesity, therapies in obesity. That one's gone from $3.90 to $5.53 on that news. And it's still climbing. ELAB. GLMD, it's trying. There's a couple of these press releases that they're trying. So we're definitely going to keep them on watch here. Look for those good dips. ELAB may be pushing up some more here. Finley got ELAB, E-L-A-B, from 450 to 550. Nice trade. PHIO, trying desperately to get up. Boy, it needs some volume. Wheeler is having trouble. I would not touch Wheeler yet this morning. BCLI, ELAB. ELAB's all over the place. Keep an eye on that one. I'm not telling you that it's going to go up. I'm just saying keep an eye on that. That has potential. BAER awarded exclusive use contract by the state of Montana for innovative wildfire detection aircraft. This is on Bridger Aerospace, BAER. No volume on that stock. Nothing there. CCO, nothing. Offers brand opportunity to capture high demand business. It's all fluff. A lot of fluff news here this morning. Yes, Jim, if it goes red, that means it might go down. Ravis, did I say that? Pronounce that right? I hope I did. Good morning. All right, let's see. All the press releases we got there at 8 o'clock. PTN. ELAB still bouncing around. Keep an eye on that, please. Keep an eye on that. Let me look at the monthly chart on ELAB. Now, ELAB's just come off of a reverse split. They did a reverse split back on March 10th, so they've got a relatively small float there. IAG. If it can get some more volume, it might be a nice one to grab this morning. IAG, but we've got to get volume. 24,000 shares on that stock this morning. That's not much. That's just about non-existent. RSLS. Finally. How many of you were in RSLS this morning? Kathy, ELAB 462 to 533. Good trade. Steve, ELAB 438 to 514. Ryan's swinging that one from last night. RSLS. You guys remember that one? That was the one that we called out in after hours last night that ran up so nicely for us. It ran up really good. I think that one went up like 70% or so, something like that. And it's climbing again this morning. And we mentioned that a little bit earlier when it spiked up. Let's see. Ronnie, good morning. Morning coffee, that's right. Got to have your morning coffee. RSLS still pushing up. Boy, not much to grab a hold of here this morning. RSLS, so far is doing okay. Wheeler still coming down. KTTA coming down. AGMH, nothing. HYFM, hanging tough. ELAB. ELAB's a funny one this morning. Relatively low float stock here because of a reverse split recently. I would keep this one on your watch list. RSLS popped up to 72, back to 69. Definitely keep an eye on ELAB. Please. How many of you got into ELAB? ELAB. Especially on that dip. It dipped all the way back to $4. Good deal. Good deal. Seeing a bunch of people saying they got into it. That's good. Now remember what we talked about. The spike on the news, the pullback. That pullback's what you're looking for. Look at ELAB. You see what I'm talking about. You see how it spiked up initially on the news? That first minute, that if you're watching on the 1 minute chart, it spikes up on the news. The second candle on the 1 minute chart, it may spike up a little bit as well. But 90% of the time, it pulls down. And then the third candle pulls down. And that's what you're watching for. That's what you're waiting for. That spike on the news, the pullback, and then the slow, steady climb back up. And it's that dip on that pullback, that initial pullback is what you're looking for. And in this case, this one pulled all the way back to $4 before it started climbing up again. So that's what you're watching for. Too many people, the news comes out, it spikes up, and everybody FOMOs into it, and all you're doing is providing liquidity for the people that are selling. Remember, when a press release comes out on a company like this, there's people that own this stock yesterday. They owned it the day before, last week, last month. And when that news comes out this morning, it spikes up, and all those people take advantage of that massive spike because they're all of a sudden they're green and they're maybe up 60%, 40%, whatever, and they start selling off. And of course, all these new people are jumping in as it spikes up, providing liquidity for them to get out. And all that sell-off causes it to drop back down. Now, the news is still there. It's pulled back. The news is still there. The news is still as good as it was, and that has a lot of new buyers coming in wanting a piece of that because of the news, and then it pushes back up again. So you get a big spike, a sell-off, and then it rises up again. Now, it doesn't happen that way 100% of the time. I'm not saying that. There are times when the news comes out, if it's good enough news, it spikes up, and it just keeps right on going, and you never get that pullback. Well, you got to play those accordingly. But most of the time, they do pull back after that first initial spike. That's what you got to watch for. Let's go take a look at ICCT again. ICCT running again. ICCT has been a payer, buddy, for the last, oh gosh. That stock's been paying us for 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, a good solid week and a half. That stock has been a really good moneymaker for day traders because almost every day, didn't we talk about this yesterday? ICCT at some point every day has a nice big run up for day traders. Let's see. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. CERO, IDN to present at the Planet Microcap Showcase in Las Vegas. CERO announces critical patent application allowances from the U.S. Patent Office. CERO on a new patent allowance. CYCU, PRZO, nothing there. All right. Custom Design, good morning. Okay, so you got all the news. Let me go back here and look at ICCT. ICCT still pushing up. Looks like we might break 5 or 450 here in a second. ELAB, keep an eye on ELAB. That's the last thing I'll tell you before I go is I don't know if it's going up or not, but I really want you to keep an eye on it. For those of you that have a position in ELAB, I think this one has a potential to be an all-day runner, or at least a good part of the day. Obviously, there's going to be sell-off. There's sell-off on every stock, but I think this one has some potential. And if you're, hopefully, you got in on the dip after that first initial spike on the news, and you're in somewhere between 4 and 450-ish, somewhere in there, hopefully. And if you are, you're doing pretty good on this one so far. So that's going to be it for this morning. We've got 8:30 press releases coming up, and we're going to be live on Zoom to give those out. If you'd like to join us, just pop over to the website, wolfpackcommunity.com. wolfpackcommunity.com, and subscribe to live Zoom trading. And you can get all the press releases from 6:45 in the morning all the way around. And let's go back right before I quit here. Let's take a look at ICCT. Boom! How many of you got ICCT? How many of you are playing that? ICCT, $4.98, $5. Kaboom. Do you help us understand charts? Absolutely. I'll do my best. RUT, ICCT, 434 to 489. Good trade. Good old ICC doing the boom boom. We like that. That's a boom boom candle. All right. You guys have a great morning. I'll be back on at 4 p.m. 4 p.m. Eastern time, and we'll do after hours trading together. We didn't get a 100% runner yesterday. Day before, we got 2 of them. Yesterday, we didn't get one. I think the highest it went yesterday was like 92%, one of them. But hopefully tonight we'll get us 100% runner. SPY is down $15 right now. Leads me to believe that the market might be red this morning when it opens up. We'll see. But until then, I'll see you guys at 4 if you can make it. Until then, have a great day. Keep it green. God bless.